Welcome to a special edition of the Smart History Report with Liana
and Leah, where we will transport you, yes, you, to the ancient world of Europe through art. The first ancient work we'll be looking at is the resting satyr, or known as the leaning satyr.
That's cool. Tell me more.
The original marble was carved by the ancient Greeks, sculptured by Praxiteles, but later copied by the Romans.
Those Romans copy everything.
I know!
Well, when was the original one done?
The original artwork was 350 to 330 BC.
Wow, that was a long time ago. So, what's his story anyway?
According to the book Engraving of the Resting Satyr, the satyr, a woodland miner deity, the companion of Dionysus, the god of wine and the merrymaking, was presented by the Greeks as a naked youth. His bestial essence is indicated by the slight slanting eyes and pointing ears that are almost concealed by the luxurious mop of hair.
I wish I had hair like him.
Well, we all do. The satyr is shown standing in a relaxing position, resting not so much on his left leg as on the stump that's given his figure stability. The joy of life is admiration for youth, beauty, and pleasure as the most important goals in life. These are the things that underline the philosophy of the Greek culture.
Wow, that sounds a lot like today's society.
Well, of course it does, because we took our government from the Greeks.
Interesting. So, where can I go to visit this piece?
You can actually go to Rome, Italy, to be able to analyze this right face to face. When you look at this sculpture and the face, you can see this kind of look that says, "Oh, I'm better than you." And you can kind of tell by the posture he gives off that he thinks he's the mighty one above all, and that he knows he's youthful and joyful, and he knows he has the most important things that the Greeks believe, that he's a youthful person. And you can tell that each lock of his hair is done with just the right amount of chipping off, and you see everything is just perfectly done. This sculpture shows how the Greeks are as well as how the Romans are. These two cultures came together in this sculpture. You can tell the identity of the Greeks and the Romans in the way the marble is shaped and put together. The Romans more focused on the function of the sculpture to make sure that it wouldn't lose a limb or anything, so they would put extra foundation to make sure that would not be the case. And the Greeks more focused on making sure that it was exactly to the human body and then there was no extra bits to it. And that's where they differ. And that's how you can tell when the Romans were copying the Greeks, because there was always that extra material added to it.
The next work in our report is known as the Arrotino or Scythian slave.
What does Arrotino mean?
In Italian, Arrotino means blade sharpener, rightly named because it depicts a man crouching down and sharpening a knife against a whetstone. Although this piece is a Roman copy, it was thought to be of the Greek original because of the incredible detailing and the unbrokenness of the sculpture. However, the Arrotino is now recognized simply as a 1st century BC copy of a Hellenistic original. It is on display in the Tribuna of the Uffizi alongside old master paintings, as it has been since the 18th century. The original was often displayed beside one of the variants of the other great ancient sculpture of a crouching figure, the Crouching Venus, also in the Uffizi collection. According to the Uffizi's virtual gallery online, the Arrotino was part of a group, along with the other lost sculptures, that represent Apollo filleting Marsyas.
Is that the story?
Yes, the story goes that Marsyas was a satyr, and he was very good at playing the flute. His talent was known to all. Some had even started to say that Marsyas was better than Apollo, the Greek god of music. There are different versions of the story, but all of them end in the same way. with the victory of Apollo and the terrible punishment of being skinned alive.
Oh my goodness, that's just rude and painful.
Yes, it is. Now let's pause for a moment. Scythia is the region to the north and northeast of the Black Sea, or modern-day Iran. The inhabitants of this region were known to the Greeks as Scythians. The Scythians were believed to lead a bestial way of life. Therefore, they were well-known barbarians. Now, this is important to note because the man sharpening a knife on the whetstone has been recognized as a Scythian. Now, back to the myth. A barbarian slave was to perform the gruesome act, and here he crouches, sharpening his blade with an ominous mixture of concentration and curiosity on his face, his posture apprehensive yet purposeful. In the book The Beholder's Tale by Leonard Barkin, it states that the so-called Arrotino, whom we take to be the flair of Marseilles, was not associated with that tale until the later 17th century, even though the Marseilles myth was well known at this time in both its verbal and visual forms. What later centuries could apparently not imagine was that feature of the Hellenistic aesthetic, according to which a minor player or genre figure could be assigned such heroic prominence as this statue evidently exhibits. Viewers therefore sought, and on the whole failed to find, heroic moments in Roman history that might fit the activity and physiognomy of this crouching figure.
Thank you for tuning in to our Smart History Report.
This is Liana
And Leah,
signing off.
Evharisto. Thank you. Yassas. Goodbye.